You're listening to America's #1 podcast, Flowerz FM.
Flowerz FM.
How's it going, guys? My name is Nick Testa, and welcome to this week's episode of Flowerz FM. The date is April 5th, and this week on the show, I want to talk about one of my favorite Philadelphia-based content creators who does a lot of work in Philadelphia's sort of underground hardcore scene, but also does a lot of work around the country promoting that genre of music and all of the artists who work so hard to make this community so tight-knit and meaningful. The content creator's name is Hate56. I am not sure what his real name is, but it is a one-man operation based in Pennsylvania, which Hate56 is a play on words for the area code of Philadelphia, which is 856. Similar to a lot of content creators in Philadelphia's hardcore scene, there's a lot of mystique around Hate56. The general public doesn't know his name. You never really know where he's going to pop up at next, and his operation really moves in the shadows. But basically what Hate56 does is he goes to hardcore shows and captures video and audio of those performances in higher fidelity than I've seen in some of the most name brand production companies on the internet. He posts them onto his YouTube channel and Instagram account and really spreads the word about these young bands that are breaking into the greater hardcore scene. The truly astounding thing about this creator, though, is not the quality of his content. It's the quantity. Hate56's YouTube channel has over 7.3 thousand videos on it. The videos on the account range from, on the low end, 15 to 20 minutes, but on the high end, an hour to 2 hours long, meaning that there are years and years of content archived onto this YouTube channel, capturing one of the most fleeting and underground scenes that the rock and roll community has ever seen. Archiving music like this is super important. I mean, these bands, some of them don't get the opportunity to last their true shelf life. So the fact that they're forever archived onto a YouTube channel like this, where you can go back and enjoy this music years and years afterwards, I mean, that is some of the most important work you can do to support a scene like this. And I commend Hate56 fully for this effort. And to expand upon Hate56's impact on the hardcore scene, I truly believe that his videos change the public's perception of what the hardcore scene is really about. Look at it like this. There are thousands and thousands of people who move to Philadelphia every year. People starting college, people starting new jobs, people who are looking for their place in a city that can be pretty overwhelming. Some of these people might enjoy rock and roll, or some of them might even enjoy metal. But if you're moving to a brand new city, it can be a really daunting task to find a community that sees music the way you do and puts on concerts that you might enjoy. That being said, the hardcore scene might be a pretty hard pitch to someone who has never experienced something like this before. So, from the outside looking in, the hardcore scene might seem like a pretty scary thing to jump into. It could be described as rough, rowdy, or sometimes even violent. And these are things that are true in some regard to the hardcore scene, but when you go to these shows and you see them in person, face to face, and you see these bands and audiences' commitment to this art form and this community that they've built, it's a truly beautiful thing, and it's really hard to communicate that to someone who's never experienced it before. That's why creators like Hate56 are vital to the growth of the hardcore scene. I mean, let's be honest. The last thing you want at your hardcore show is a bunch of posers showing up to see if it's for them. And I mean that with no disrespect. You could put yourself in some pretty dangerous situations if you're not prepared for what's to come at a hardcore show. There's a lot of etiquette to be learned about being an audience member at this sort of show. So, if someone is curious or even worried about what they might experience at a hardcore show, they can go on to Hate56's channel and watch one of these videos which capture these events in beautiful detail. And I'd be willing to bet, I've seen it firsthand. Some people watch these videos and decide, well, this isn't for me, which effectively prevents new audiences from diving headfirst into a show, having a negative experience, and then spreading stigma based on that experience, which could reflect poorly on the community that they're not even a part of. Giving people a sample-sized bite of what they might experience at these shows sort of streamlines the gatekeeping process. It keeps people out of the shows who don't want to be there in the first place, and that's vital to the growth of a scene like this. And I have to hold Hate5six in the highest regard because they capture these samples so beautifully. In an internet landscape where every creator has to have their own style and everything has to be flashy in order to get as many views as possible, Hate5six stands out because he strips everything back. In a typical Hate5six video, there's no cuts, very little editing. It is just the raw footage captured in the highest fidelity that you can expect. It truly feels like you're standing stage side to a band playing to an audience. Archiving music in this way is a lost art, and I think Hate5six really does it well. He does it better than I've seen anyone do it, especially since it's just him. Things like target audience or platform size are things that are palpable in most creators these days. You feel marketed to with every video that you watch, but when it comes to Hate5six, it's just the music, man, and that's really refreshing. That being said, having a platform of any size, especially when it comes with something as inherently political as the hardcore scene, comes with the responsibility to maintain a level of awareness with the politics going on around you and sustaining a positive agenda, which is another thing that I have to commend Hate5six for. I've seen bands in Hate5six videos go up on stage and share their views. They talk about politics, society, the communities that they're a part of. And some of these views might be controversial for some people, and it could affect Hate5six's platform, his audience base, honestly, a variety of things. But nonetheless, Hate5six tastefully captures these monologues and puts them in his videos no matter what. And that's brave. Furthermore, I've seen Hate5six amplify the voices around him via his Instagram, and he's been very vocal about America's involvement with Palestine and the Middle East. As far as I can tell, Hate5six does his best to amplify community organizations that advocate for the rights of people of Palestine. In the link in his bio, he has a plethora of stories and organizations that you can research that help with this movement. And this activism was met with some pretty unfortunate responses by members of the hardcore community, and it seems the community of Philadelphia. On February 28th, Hate5six's official Instagram account posted a pretty lengthy response to some of this backlash he was receiving, and I'd like to read that here because it's fairly moving, and I don't think I could sum it up any better way. It goes like this. March 20, 2003. The U.S. had just invaded Iraq that morning when I got sent to the high school principal's office. On his desk was a shredded piece of paper I had taped to my locker a few periods earlier, bearing the question, what is the current price of gasoline? 10 dead Iraqis per gallon? 50? 100? 1,000? The principal called me a Nazi and threatened me with suspension. 21 years later, and the only difference is that I have rebuilt the proverbial locker for more people to walk by. What is the cost of educating just one person? Losing a blue check mark? Some negative comments? Being called a sand N-word? Sacrificing an account with nearly 250,000 subs? Those prices are immaterial relative to the destruction and loss Palestinians are facing daily and have been for over 75 years due to Israeli occupation. He goes on to say, you will not stop me. Even if you put the barrel of a gun to my skull and pull the trigger, with my dying breath I will, in the words of Mossab Abu Toha, spit the blood of every dead Palestinian back in your face. Truly powerful stuff from one of the leaders of this community. Even if you don't personally align yourself with some of the beliefs that Hate5six has, his commitment to the truth, his community, and the movements that he believes in is truly inspiring, and I think These are the voices that deserve to be amplified in our community, and I hope I've done that well with this episode. If you'd like to support Hate56 further, his Instagram handle is hate56official. And the link in his bio will bring you to a wide variety of resources, including some information on Palestine, the Palestinian digital resistance, some community leaders talking about this movement, and even just Hate56's weekly summaries. There's Hate56 merch on here. There's a link to his YouTube, and there's even a link for you to give him donations directly. I highly suggest that you go check this out because content creators like this are few and far between, and we need to do everything we can to support them. As I mentioned earlier, it's never really certain where Hate56 will pop up next, but if I had to give my guess of an event he will be at, this is Hardcore Fest 2024 is a giant hardcore festival that goes on in August, and the lineup is going to be announced on April 15th, and tickets go on sale on April 19th. So if you are dying to meet this person or just get a glimpse of the action, definitely check out that announcement and buy some tickets because it's going to be an awesome time. That's all I got for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I thoroughly hope you enjoyed this episode of Flowerz FM. If you did enjoy, please consider sharing this episode with a friend. With every share is the potential of a new listener, and with every listener, this community grows, which makes the process of making these episodes so much more fulfilling. I truly hope that the better I get at this, the more people will tune in and enjoy, which is really my goal with this whole thing. So every share is just a little step closer to that. So, whether you're an old listener or a brand new one, thank you for listening to this episode, and I'm excited to bring you a new one next week. Have a great one.